So today, we're diving deep into the life, the incredibly violent death, and the intense battle to define the legacy of one of America's most polarizing figures, Charlie Kirk. His assassination sent absolute shockwaves through the country, but the fight over his memory, was he a martyr or was he a demagogue? That battle began almost the second the news broke.
And it's wild, but we're going to start with Kirk's own words. This is a statement that now just hangs over this entire story with this really tragic irony. I mean, he built his whole career on pushing the absolute limits of debate. He truly believed that confrontational talk, that was the thing that would stop physical violence. But for his critics, well, his words weren't the antidote. They were the poison.
But on that day, the talking stopped. He was taking questions from the audience, right in the middle of a live-streamed event, and the 31-year-old activist was shot and killed. Just like that. In an instant, what was a political debate became this national tragedy, broadcast for everyone to see online.
So to even begin to understand the firestorm that erupted after his death, we've got to go back and understand the man himself. I mean, what was it about Charlie Kirk that inspired this incredible, fierce loyalty in his followers and at the same time such a visceral, gut-level opposition from his critics?
See, Kirk's journey, it didn't start in the halls of Washington, D.C. No, not at all. It started with him as a young activist back in Illinois. And get this, after just a single semester of community college, he decided that's it and dedicated his entire life to completely reshaping conservative politics, starting right from the ground up. And the vehicle for this mission? It was Turning Point USA, or TPUSA. What he started as this tiny little student group just exploded. It became a political behemoth with an annual budget of around $80 million. I mean, that made Kirk one of the most powerful voices for young conservatives in the entire country. And his message, well, it was built on a set of really uncompromising positions. He was a huge champion of what's known as Christian nationalism, this idea that America's identity and Christianity are totally inseparable. He also pushed the Great Replacement conspiracy theory, which is this unfounded claim that non-white populations are being deliberately brought into Western countries to replace white voters. And his targets? They were all over the map, from the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 all the way to doctors who provide gender-affirming care.
His rhetoric on race was, to put it mildly, controversial. In statements just like this one, he would openly question the qualifications of black professionals. His argument was basically that diversity programs meant they might have unfairly taken a white person's slot.
And this confrontational style, it wasn't just for politics. It extended to huge cultural icons, too. Like when Taylor Swift got engaged, he used his massive platform to lecture her, a global superstar, on gender roles, telling her she needed to submit to your husband. It was just classic Kirk, right? Provocative, super direct, and absolutely engineered to get a massive reaction. So, when it came down to it, there was really no middle ground on Charlie Kirk. To his allies, he was this brave warrior, fighting for free speech on what they saw as hostile college campuses. But to his detractors, he was a purveyor of incredibly dangerous hate speech. And these two views, they're just completely irreconcilable. They absolutely set the stage for the massive battle over his legacy.
And really, nothing captures this deep division better than the fight that just exploded at one of our nation's most prestigious military institutions, the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Okay, so here's the timeline. Just weeks before his death, President Trump had appointed Kirk to the Academy's Board of Visitors. Then, right after his assassination, a retired general on the Association of Graduates Board tried to pass a motion to honor him. The backlash from inside the military community was just immediate and absolutely immense. And the arguments on both sides here were really deeply felt. You had supporters like Lieutenant General Bishop, who argued that Kirk's love for the country and his understanding of the Constitution made him worthy of the honor. But then the opponents came back saying, hold on, the guy has zero military record, and his whole history of divisive politics has no place at a service academy.
But you know what? That controversy at the Air Force Academy, that was just one tremor. The assassination didn't quiet any of the political noise. If anything, it cranked up the volume, creating all new shockwaves online and in the halls of power.
It only took 2 days after the shooting for authorities to arrest a 22-year-old named Tyler Robinson. And here's the thing, he had no prior criminal history. So while the whole nation was debating Kirk's legacy, the legal process was just getting started for his alleged killer, and prosecutors announced right away they were going to seek the death penalty. The fallout, right after it happened, was just swift and chaotic. First, you had the graphic video of the shooting going viral everywhere,
forcing millions of people to confront just how brutal it was. Then, of course, came the political blame game, with each side pointing fingers at the other. And then the government itself stepped in, revoking the visas of foreigners who were celebrating the killing on social media.
And this concern over the viral videos, it was really widespread. The governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, he really spoke for a lot of people when he warned about the psychological damage of seeing that kind of graphic content. It just highlighted this grim new reality of political violence in the age of social media.
So while the rest of the country was just grappling with the shock of it all, Kirk's allies and political leaders, they started a really coordinated campaign. The goal? To cement his legacy, not just as an activist, but as a full-blown martyr for the conservative cause. And the sheer scope of these posthumous honors was just extraordinary. I mean, President Trump awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Governor DeSantis created a debate trophy in his name. A college in Florida announced they were going to put up a statue of him. From Fox News to all his political allies, it was like his place in the conservative pantheon was being rapidly carved in stone. And that mission, that fight, it was passed directly to his followers. In her very first interview after he died, his widow, Erica, she told the young members of TPUSA that carrying on the fight was now part of their legacy too. It forever intertwined their activism with his memory.
Which, brings us right back to where we started. Charlie Kirk warned that when debate stops, violence begins. But in the wake of his own incredibly violent death, the debate over who he was and what he stood for, well, it's only gotten louder. And it leaves us with this huge, lingering question. In a nation this deeply divided, how can we ever agree on the meaning of a life like his?